Good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin, and I'm the President and CEO of the Imagine America Foundation. I want to welcome all of our visitors to the fourth year of the IAF Career College Exposition webinar services, where we have now produced and distributed more than 150 webinars, with our total viewers and listeners now surpassing 5,000 local educators and counselors. To our continued listeners, thank you for your immense support. We appreciate it. For our new listeners, welcome. We hope that you find today's session enjoyable. I'm excited about today's topic. Is the college degree the only ticket for success? Sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is this country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 18 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 22-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having now provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 11,300 enrolling Imagine America students just since 2016. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. Since our beginning in 1999, the Imagine America Foundation remains the leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country continues to face a never-ending, serious shortage in certified technicians. We hear from employers in virtually every part of the country desperately looking for qualified employees. We frankly need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, or UTI. Joining us today to discuss in detail the looming technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is nationally recognized expert in the area with extensive K-12 experience. Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me very quickly outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, including questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we're going to move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A feature in this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, I will present any and all questions offered by the participants. We'll address as many questions as possible and provide written responses in follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 10:30 a.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Bob, for that introduction. Nice to be on with all of you. I know you're very busy people, so I can't thank you enough for taking 30 minutes of your time, of your busy day, and spending it with me. I speaking out to you out in the Arizona area, in the Phoenix area. I think this is warm here in Missouri, as what you're getting out there. We have an unusual weather right now, so I'm pretty excited about that. But anyway, let's get right to our presentation today and talk to you a little bit about you and what's going on. So there's definitely a movement in our country today to learn more about CTE STEM career pathways. You know, when I started doing these presentations, oh gosh, it's been now seven or 8 years ago. You know, I used to get quite a bit of pushback on this. You know, you've got to go to college. You got to go to college, and we're just seeing a change now. We're seeing this movement. I've really seen this turn the corner and looking at alternatives to traditional education, to the traditional pathways that we've always pushed our students into. You know, you all work with the Gen Z kids, aren't they? Aren't they something? You know, the Gen Z kids are, you know, they're just a different group. They value education, but they're not really all about going to school 4 or 5 or 6 years. You know, they're different in how they communicate. You know this. They don't email, they text, they Snapchat, they Instagram. You know, this is how they communicate. You know, they use technology. They love to make money. You know, they do all these things, but yet at the same time, they don't all see themselves as college material. They want to look for other options. They want to get through something as quickly as they possibly can. They want to be certified, be prepared. And that's difficult for us sometimes as educators, because our pathway was to get the bachelor's degree and then a master's degree and then maybe more than that. And that's just not the way these kids are thinking. And so we have to adjust, how they are. We tend to sometimes say, oh, these kids are lazy, or they're just hard-headed. They don't want to do it. No, they're just different in how they learn, how they look at education. So we need to be cognizant of that as we're working with these students on what it is that they're looking for career pathway. 85% of your students value a skilled trades career, but only 16% are very likely to even go into such a career. Now, why is that? Well, part of it is they don't recognize that these are STEM careers. They look at them as more like hobbies or something like that, and that's not true. These are great careers that's possible for them to become part of. The other problem that we have is they get coached out of it. They'll say, we ask every little kid in the country, what do you want to be when you grow up? And what do they tell us they want to be? They want to be a fireman. They want to be a policeman. They want to be a teacher. We want to do all these things. Then why do we have a shortage in all those areas? Because we coach them out of it. Oh, that's nice. You want to be a policeman. No, you really don't want to, because it doesn't pay well. It's dangerous. You don't want to do that. And, we know now that these careers are very important to our everyday lives. The other problem we have is the underrepresentation of women in the industry. Out of all of the CTE, the STEM careers that are out there, only 27% of them are filled with females. Over half the population is female, yet only 27% fill that role. And I'll show you later what UTI is doing to combat that problem. So where did it all start? You must go to college in order to get a good job. Well, it started clear back in 1971, Griggs versus Duke Power and Energy. At that time, Griggs sued. That's what we do nowadays. We sue everybody if it's something that doesn't suit us. And so that's what happened there. They sued. They said, hey, these we used to take aptitude tests. These tests to see what you're qualified to do, what you're good at. And so, well, these aren't fair because people from one state have different experiences than somebody in another state, and on and on. So these were deemed unconstitutional, got rid of them. So Duke Power and Energy said, okay, that's all well and good. What are we going to use now to measure an employee, a future employee? College degree. If you have a bachelor's degree, you're automatically smart. You're automatically eligible. You can do anything because you got that college degree. And it's still carried on to this day. Not as prevalent as it was then, but it's still there, and something that we still have to deal with on a daily basis. So, we used to look at there's two schools of thought with going to college. The old SMART, and it focused on getting to the best college you possibly can. We focused on the college, on the school, and so who says what's the best college? A college will say, hey, we're number one in journalism. Hey, we're number one in agriculture. Hey, we're number one in law. Says who? Well, says the parents who sent their kid to that particular school. But, everything's is all relevant. So what we used to do then, we tell these kids, hey, to get into the best school, you got to have the best, transcripts, the best resume, take all the hard subjects, take all those weighted courses. Make sure you help every little old man and little old lady across the street because that's going to look good on your resume. Volunteer for as many things you can because that's going to look good on your resume. That's going to get you into the best college. Not necessarily the best college for you, but the best college overall. So you figure out what it is you want to major in. You come out, you say, here I am, world. I got my degree. Hire me. It just doesn't work any longer today. So then we move forward to the new SMART, where we focus on the student and the career that they want. And we have to start that clear in the elementary, because that's when we're planting those seeds. I used to always, when I would have, when I'm at state school counselor conferences and I have a booth set up, I got so tired of elementary counselors. Oh, you don't want to talk to me because I'm an elementary counselor. Absolutely, I want to talk to you because you are the one that's planting those seeds. You're the one that's introducing them to these careers that are out there. So it needs to start at the upper elementary and the middle school area. We need to expose these kids to what's out there. Then when we move into high school, that's where we want to involve them in different kinds of occupations, different types of careers that are out there. We want to bring in presenters like at UTI. We have reps all across the country, 150 reps that go into over 10,000 high schools a year just to show kids what's out there available to them. We don't do UTI infomercials. Kids don't want a school shoved down their throat. They want to know what's available to them. What are their opportunities? That's why it's so important. Another thing, too, is we get industry involved. And that's something that I would submit to you. Make sure that you're getting industry involved in your schools. They want to help you. They want to work with you. They have money that you don't have. I know what your budgets are like. You don't have them. So they can help with that. They want to come to your career fairs. Notice I said career fairs. We don't want to do a college fair any longer. Let's do a career fair. All right. So we include all of our students. Let's we like one of the things that we do at UTI is we have industry days where we host it at a dealership. We bring the student, their parents, their educators, the school counselors, administrators in so they can see what a dealership is really like today because they don't have any clue. They think it's going to be a bunch of grease and oil all over the place, and that's just not true any longer. So then the whole idea here is to help the students find a post-secondary career pathway that suits them. Then we will find them the proper school. Why send them to Arizona or Arizona State when they need to go to a good cosmetology school? They need to go to a good welding school. So that's why we want to focus on the student and their career rather than just the college. You may have seen this guy before, Mike Rowe, America's Dirtiest Jobs. You probably know who he is. I love the quote, not every child will become a lawyer or a doctor. Teach your kids that it is okay to work with your hands and build cool stuff. And that's the whole point here is that, these students need to understand that what they like to do is just as important as the students that want to go on to a college or university. We need to make sure we are celebrating the successes of all of our students. That also helps with the relationship with the parents. I know that maybe you're out there going, hey, Steve, you're preaching to the choir. I get what you're saying. But boy, these parents, they're just not having it. Their kid, they want them to go to college, and that's their only option. They're going to go to college. And so that's why it's important to educate parents as well, too, that, these kids that they want to be a welder. They want to be a auto technician. They want to work on motorcycles. They want to build houses. They want to be an electrician because these are all very important skills and not just anybody can do them. But we have to make sure we celebrate that these kids, what they want to do is just as important. This is not plan B for them. This is their plan A. My favorite slide of the entire presentation, employer versus student perception. We have employers, they hire employees on a daily basis. And, the things they're looking for instance, professionalism and work ethic. The employer rated this particular employee at a 42.5% proficiency. But the employee saw themselves at almost a 90%, 89.4 to be exact. Quite a difference, isn't there? Oral and written communications, 41.6%. But they saw themselves at almost 80% proficiency. So how can there be such a discrepancy in these numbers? Well, I have a theory. When kids are little, nobody loses. Nobody fails. Everybody gets a ribbon, a trophy, a medal. Nobody walks away empty-handed. And we're just doing these kids a disservice. We have to teach kids how to fail so they can be successful. We learn by our failures as much as we do by our successes, sometimes even more. We have to understand that these kids have to learn how to rise up after they fail. It's okay for them to do that. We can't shelter them because then what happens when they do get into the work field, then they meet their first failure. And it's like they don't know how to handle it. So I'm telling you that it's okay. We don't have to be mean about it. We have to say, hey, you stink or whatever, not anything like that. But we just need to say, hey, this is not what we're looking for here. We're looking for this instead, or this is not your best work. You can do better than this. Encourage the kids to get better. And that's going to make them more employable when they do get into the workforce. A very sad statistic, but it's very true. Of all the people walking around on the face of the earth with a bachelor's degree or higher, only half of them, not even half of them, are using it. right? Because they find out they don't need it. You know, you think of all the time, the energy, the money they put into getting that degree, only to find out it wasn't necessary in the first place. You know, and that's where it's important as us as educators to really focus on career readiness and career pathways so that these kids get the proper education that they need, not something that you think they need, but something that they need. And the same thing with parents. Oftentimes parents, you know, they shudder when they say, oh, my you know, my son, or heaven forbid, my daughter wants to be a welder. Oh no, not in this lifetime. Well, that's what they really want to do, and we need to focus on that and encourage that for the students in order for them to be successful. There's one word that should stand out on this screen to you, and that's the word essential. Now, when you look at all these technical skilled trades here on this screen, you look at them and you say, are they really, you know, essential? Well, they're not essential because we teach them, because we teach in all these areas, but that's not why they're essential. They're the essential because think of your life without these in it. Think about it. You know, now you might say aircraft mechanic, avionics technician, is that really essential in my life? Well, maybe not your life, but in my life where I fly 80, 90,000 miles a year, it's very important to me. I'm going to be getting on a plane and flying to Chicago here on Thursday for a school counselor event. And, you know, that's very important to me. Or you might look at it and you say, plumber, is that really essential? Well, maybe not until the toilet doesn't flush. Then all of a sudden that's your BFF. You know, these are all essential because they're part of our lives on a daily basis. But the sad part about it is these are all in high demand right now. They need technicians, and they pay well too. You know, ever have people come out to your home and do work? It's not cheap, you know, and so these are essential. They were essential before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now post-pandemic, and they will stay essential throughout our lifetime. So it's important that we get technicians working in these fields so that these so that we don't get more behind and get a wider skills gap. The demand for technicians and welders is huge. You know, $1.7 million or $1.7 million, 1.7 million technicians are going to be needed by 2031. It's only 7 years away. So we have to make sure that we're encouraging students that want to go into these fields. Hey, this is a great career opportunity for you. It's going to pay well. It's going to provide you with a lot of fulfillment in your life because it's something that you love to do and that you're very good at. I said earlier, talking about, you know, underrepresentation of women. So what we're doing at UTI is we started 2 years ago. We're now in our third year, Women in STEM. You know, the mantra is you can't be what you can't see. These girls don't have any role models. They don't have anybody they can look up to. Think about it. When's the last time you saw a female welder, a female plumber, a female auto technician or diesel technician? You're driving down the road, you know, and they're working on roads. They're always working on roads. How many times do you see a woman in the mix? Not very often. And if you do, they're holding the stop sign. Sometimes they get to turn to slow down, you know, and we've got to change all that. So one of the things that we've really worked hard on doing is hosting Women in STEM seminars at our campuses. You know, the idea is to bring these girls into a STEM school, a true STEM school, so they can see what it's like. We bring in panelists. We bring in all these women in STEM that are highly successful, so these girls can talk to them. They can ask them questions like, hey, how did you do it? Were you scared? What did your parents say? What did your friends say? You know, they want to know these. And then at the end, we have them fill out a card to talk about their experience. And here's one young lady put, I like watching cars go fast, but wow, today I couldn't stop smiling. I was intrigued with everything. I had no idea how I would start a job in this career. Now all I can think is to apply here after high school. We changed that girl's life. You know, when we started these, we were hoping to get 30, maybe 40 girls. We're averaging over 100 girls at these events. You know, we bring in buses. We even pay for the bus for them to come in from their school. And so these girls can witness what it's like, because we want girls to know that, hey, you can do this too. You know, you can be successful in this. You know, and we're already seeing an increased enrollment in our school with females, and we're hoping that other industries are seeing the same thing as a result of these seminars that we've been doing. Scholarships and grants. We have over $15 million in scholarships and grants available to students. And what's sad about it, though, is we don't give away half of it. These are possible. I'll hear all the time, oh, I can't afford to go to school. And I submit to you, you can't afford not to go to school. You must, get education of some type. Maybe not a bachelor's degree, but you need certifications. You need, some type of diploma or something that's saying that you're capable of doing this. That's very important. And so that's what we try to do, is offer these, to students so they can make their education more affordable. Industry relationships. We're the only school in the country that can pull up this slide. We have over 35 industry relationships, and that number continues to grow. But I don't show you that for that reason. I show this to you. So these are the companies that we work with on a daily basis, really. We just, I was just with one of our industry partners at National FFA last week, and I was talking to other industry partners that were there too. We interact all the time. And I'm telling you, you need to get industry involved in your schools. They will work with you. They want to. And I know this is just things in the transportation industry, but any skilled trades area, electrician, a plumber, welder, all these, they're all important too. And they will work with you. So don't miss out on that. You have a great opportunity to partner with them. Now, we talk about our tuition reimbursement incentive program, or TRIP. I showed you the screen earlier about scholarships. I don't know about you, but we have difficulty getting kids to fill out scholarships. I'm pretty sure you do too. Every time I talk to school counselors in person when I'm doing presentations, they all chuckle whenever I bring that up. So our TRIP package is something. We have over 7,000 TRIP employer locations across the country that participate. And what they do, they will, upon graduation, they will give our graduates a package anywhere from $10,000 up to close to $60,000. It will pay off their student loans, give them a tool allowance, a boot allowance. Some of them do that. Relocation, a sign-on bonus, a retention bonus, all these things, because they all need technicians. I always use the analogy, all of these employers are fishing out of the same pond. They're looking for the best technicians they get. Who's going to catch them? The one with the best bait. And so that's where the tuition reimbursement incentive program is so successful. And that's why we have such a high graduation rate, or I feel like it's one of the reasons we do, because it gives students something to work for, and then they get a reward at the end. But one thing, they don't give these out to just anybody. BMW wants the best. Mercedes wants the best. They're not going to give them just anybody. They want somebody that shows good professionalism, that shows good attendance, that shows a good work ethic. That's who they're looking for, and they're willing to reward these students. So it's a great opportunity to have your education paid for. So with our programs, we get trained on average, it's about a year, depending upon the program. Some are less than a year. We have programs that are as short as 7 months, and then we have some that go over a year, but about a year on average. But these are programs where students can get into a skilled trades, not put in a lot of time, and that really appeals to these Gen Z kids. And then we have over 230,000 graduates in our 55 plus year history. So we're very proud of that. We stay connected on through social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, we're on there. But we're constantly trying to reach out to students and educators as well. Instagram is a great way to communicate with school counselors, and I do that a lot too. So that's how we stay connected with educators across the country. And then, finally, this is my contact information. This is my email address. This is my phone. There's my Instagram. Please follow me. I'll follow you back. But just know that what we want to do is we want to partner with you any way we possibly can. We know the value of what you do working with kids on a daily basis, and we're just here to help you. We offer workshops where we come in and we do STEM workshops with your kids. As I mentioned earlier, not a UTI infomercial. It's about the student, showing them what opportunities are available. The screen I showed you earlier about all these different occupations that we teach from. A lot of the kids don't even know these exist. Like if I say CNC, I wonder how many of you know what that means. Computer numerical control. Or if I said non-destructive testing, would you know what that means? So that's why we come in and we talk to students about this. We also, we have a STEM truck and trailer that we take out to schools. It's a great way to bring STEM to your students. We also do professional development. I've worked with many school districts across the country doing professional development for them to help kick off their school year or to meet with the staff and talk to them. So we offer those. And the best part is everything I just mentioned is all free. So it's a great opportunity for you to use this in some possible way. And then finally, I just say to you that, I've learned it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many possessions you have. It's, do you have your own QR code? So there's mine right there. So please feel free to take a picture of that. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Good, bad, or ugly. I don't care. I just want your comments, your suggestions. I hope to hear from you soon, and I wish you luck for the rest of your school year. Thank you so much.
Great job as usual, Stephen. We're going to go right to questions real quick so we can honor the time commitments. First question right out of the box comes in, has to do with financial aid assistance. Can you talk a little bit about what your UTI has available to assist potential students and their parents in putting together that all-important FAFSA and financial aid?
Absolutely. We are Title IV funded, so that means you fill out a FAFSA to see what financial aid you qualify for. You'll have a financial aid advisor that will work with the student and their family. We want to make sure everybody's on board with this, talking how they can finance their education. We look for every scholarship, every grant. Anyway, we have housing grants because we do offer housing at every one of our campuses except Bloomfield. We have housing grants. We have relocation grants to help students to get to school in the first place. So yeah, we try every way possible to make sure that students' education is affordable.
A great connection here. Why don't you talk about housing options? Because the next has to do with the fact that so many of your campuses are destinations and students are going to be moving there. Why don't you talk a little bit about housing options, please?
Yeah, exactly. We offer, they're not dorms, they're apartments, but they're apartments leased by us, so it's only our students. And we put anywhere from 2 to 4 in an apartment, depending upon how much you want to pay. But you have your own lease, so you're not responsible for anybody else. And your lease matches your program. So if you're in a program that's only a year long, that's all your lease is. If your program is only 9 months long, that's how long your lease is. So we definitely help students to have have affordable housing, and then we also help the students to get part-time jobs while they're in school to help pay for that too.
Yeah, I think we got time for one more question. This one has to do with cost and programmatic comparisons with community and technical college, because a lot of these counselors are looking at kids that are looking at different options. Why don't you talk about that a little bit real quick?
Yeah, I get that all the time about the community college. We're not a community college. Don't pretend to be one. Don't want to be one. We have our niche. They have their niche. But there's a few things that really stand out the difference. Number one is the length of time you're going to be in school. Community college, you're going to be there 2+ years, depending upon what program you choose. Here, you're going to be in school about a year, give or take as well. So there's a difference there. Number two is the alliances with the manufacturers. Yes, some community colleges may have 1 or 2 like that. We have over 35 alliances. So it gives, we really pride ourselves in manufacturer-specific training. We're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing students to go to work for Porsche, for BMW, for Ford, for GM, these different companies. And then number 3, I know there's lots of schools or lots of states out there that offer free community college, and that's great. But the statistics bear out that it doesn't work very well because the graduation rates of community colleges is like 28%. It's very poor. With our tuition reimbursement program, students can have their education paid for. So that's something that we offer that they don't offer to make your education more affordable.
So if students that want to get in, they want to get trained, and they want to get out and working quickly, UTI is probably a good alternative.
Yes, and Bob, I didn't bring this up before, but you can't just come to UTI. You have to be invited, and that's where we do a personal interview with the student and their family. We want to make sure that not only are they a good fit for us, but that we are a good fit for them. We've turned students away to say, really, we're not what you're looking for, and so that's very important. That personal interview tells us a lot, and we treat it just like if they're a service manager, because we're going to ask the same questions the service manager is going to ask of the student.
Right. So now contact information as we get ready to close. You got your QR code up here. That's going to get them right directly to you, Stephen.
That's correct. That's correct. Also, feel free to reach out to our website, uti.edu. You can make an inquiry on there, and someone will reach out to you. But if that's too much for you, just reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you.
Well, I want to honor the time because we're drawing to a close here. But before I close, let me go through a couple of administrative issues. First of all, we've recorded this session, and we're going to be forwarding that recording to all the registrants. It'll also be up on the Imagine America YouTube channel for anyone who wants to listen to it, view it again. That I encourage you to consider doing that. We're also going to be sending out a follow-up survey of this meeting. We appreciate your feedback and input on topics and presenters, and maybe there's some things that you'd like to see us look at doing in the future. That would be very helpful. Finally, I want an exciting announcement. We now offer a certificate of attendance for any of the counselors out there that want to be able to document the fact that they put the time in professional development on this course. We can and will send you out from Imagine America the certificate of attendance signed off by myself and Dr. Coyle. All you have to do is contact Lauren Cunningham at the Imagine America Foundation. Before we close, I want to thank the participants, the education participants, for taking time out of their very busy schedule and joining us today. As Stephen said earlier, we know you got a lot of different demands on your time. We just appreciate you carving out a little bit of time for us today. Listen to our presentation, Stephen's presentation on UTI. We want to thank Dr. Coyle for another excellent presentation on UTI. And again, urge any and all of you to contact him directly. Anything about the presentation, questions, any questions he might be in general to talk to you about or answer relative to careers. Maybe you want to get Dr. Coyle out there to talk to your students. He's an excellent presenter. And also want to encourage you to contact him directly. So on behalf of Imagine America Foundation, myself, Dr. Coyle, and Lauren Cunningham, who actually runs all this stuff for us, I want to thank you and hope you have a great day. Goodbye.